is Prime. CNN has paid former network host Don Lemon $24.5 million to settle Lemon's lawsuit over his spring 2023 ouster. Now, this separation deal Lemon has agreed to would be the full, complete payment from his contract, which was extended for another 3.5 years beyond at the point at which he was fired. That's according to sources who told that to The Wrap, although CNN has denied the accuracy of it without giving further specifications. Now, Lemon's termination from the network came after he clashed with his co-host over on-air remarks about Nikki Haley, saying that she was past her prime and that a woman is considered to be in her prime, quote, in her 20s, 30s, and maybe her 40s.
CNN announced Monday that it will overhaul its entire morning lineup amid drooping ratings and audience loss during Chris Licht's reign, the company's former CEO. The network will be revamping its morning program, CNN This Morning, currently hosted by Poppy Harlow and Phil Mattingly from 6 to 9 each morning. The program will soon be hosted by Casey Hunt from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. The end of his time at CNN also came after butting heads with his former co-host, Poppy Harlow. Coincidentally, Lemon was fired on the same day Tucker Carlson was let go from Fox News on April 24th of last year. Time flies. Last month, Lemon announced his new show on X called The Don Lemon Show.
I remember when it happened. We were sitting right here, and the announcement came through. The Tucker Carlson one first, which was a holy SHIT moment, and then shortly thereafter, I think CNN realized now was the time to do this because it was going to get slightly buried in the news because of Tucker's exit. And what a fun show that was for us.
That was a year ago almost.
It was almost a year ago. Wow. Time flies when you're having whatever we're having. So anyway, $24.5 million, by the way, is just a gigantic amount of money. Those cable channels sure have a lot of money. Incredible.
And it's ironic because it did seem like part of the reshufflings that caused or seemed to contribute to some of the conflict around Don Lemon were due to less than ideal ratings over at CNN. So there is some question. This does seem to be raising some questions for folks, especially in an environment where there's so many layoffs happening in media, as to whether or not the juice is worth the squeeze. Are having these big names and these big contracts really correlating with higher numbers in terms of viewership? So with someone like Tucker Carlson, you can at least kind of justify the paycheck. I'm not sure that was ever true of
I mean, the number of lower-level junior reporters, editors, videographers, people you can hire with $24.5 million is a lot. Now, of course, we know in media what is doing well these days is commentary. You've talked about the demise of local kind of hard-nosed reporting news, that the model not being as sustained by that. So, right, exactly as you said, if you're paying a quarter of $100 million for a really successful, provocative, well-liked, huge audience kind of commentary person like Tucker Carlson, it does make sense. They obviously, CNN can decide whether that was the case for any of its talent. I don't know that shuffling, but now mostly it's just moving the same people, it seems, to different hours. I don't know why that would be tremendously different from 1 hour to another. Another issue with Don Lemon, too, beside the weird Nikki Haley comment, which everyone mocked, was that he seemed to not get along. I mean, he moved from having his own show to being a co-host among three, and he seemed to not get along with them, and they seem to be at cross purposes. I remember one time Caitlin Collins was trying to do an interview with a Republican figure, and he was like, why are we even doing this interview? This is election denial. We shouldn't even, kind of probe it further. But that said, I don't know if he's had some change of heart. Now he's aboard the Elon train. That will be interesting to watch, to see what kind of content he does now, and if he has any insights into how a place, mainstream journalistic outlets work, and whether he'll be sharing that for the audience on X.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling is that if you are willing to cater your opinion so strongly to the venue that you're in, if you're of a mind where you're saying, now I believe in unorthodox, heterodox views because I'm no longer on CNN and I can go and be myself somewhere else, it suggests to me a kind of a lack of integrity, to be honest. I think that you should say what you were going to say on CNN, and if they let you go for it, they should let you go for it. But it's either that you didn't actually have heterodox views on CNN, or that you were lying to the public about your heterodox views. And if it's the former, you're now just basically trying to chase where you think the viewership is.
He's awoken / been red-pilled / whatever the proper terminology for whatever direction
Maybe,
he's going.
but does the public really believe when folks have these seemingly very convenient and well-timed transformations? Another big happening in media news is that Mehdi Hasan, formerly of NBC Peacock, is forming a new subscription digital media company now that he is exiting MSNBC. The company is going to be called Zeteo, which means to seek out in, I think, Greek. And it bills itself as having a strong bias for the truth and an unwavering belief in the media's responsibility to the public. What do you make of this move?
Just what we need, another new media company. It's such a thriving time in the industry. Sounds great. No, look, I'm sure Mehdi Hasan is capable of great success in a different format. He's a colorful commentator. He's very good at making arguments, very good at interviewing people. You know that I don't particularly care for him, and I have not liked some of what he said about COVID lab leak origin and about other subjects, his clashes with Matt Taibbi and such. I thought he was engaged in some bad faith arguing, but I also just don't agree with him. I'm not a progressive, but I wish him well. I don't. Not happy for people losing their jobs in media or really ever, so I have no doubt there's a format where he could be successful. Honestly, I could see him being very successful on YouTube. I have no idea what he plans the distribution model for this company to be, but I think the kind of commentary he does would work well on a similar platform to ours, frankly.
According to Deadline, his site, this new site, will offer free access to some newsletters and podcasts with an $8 per month or $72 per year all access. So it looks like a subscription model.
That could work too.
My feeling is that Mehdi Hasan is one of the smartest people on TV and one of the best debaters on TV and one of the best interviewers on TV. And there are a lot of people that I disagree with, but who I've defended as they have been pushed off because of their beliefs from various platforms. And the fact that MSNBC pulled their 3 Muslim anchors at the beginning of the conflict in Gaza after October 7th was extremely telling. And I think that anybody who cares about free speech in media should defend Mehdi Hasan and be very skeptical of MSNBC's choice to do exactly that, of course, then followed by him leaving the show for whatever reason. Now, I have been frustrated that Mehdi Hasan doesn't seem personally to have had any interest in airing out what exactly went on.
Yeah, that's what I was
going
to ask you. Has he ever confirmed that?
And I think that now, if he's really leaving and this is going to be a new platform, this would be a really good opportunity for him to draw some eyes to an explanation as to what really went on, because I think you tacitly end up covering for and endorsing the bad behavior of these censorious news organizations if you do not, in fact, tell what has happened. Of course, there are all kinds of financial incentives for people to keep their mouths shut, and it would be frustrating if that is, in fact, what's going on here, because I think the public deserves to know if they are really censoring Muslim voices.
If he has any grievances to air, our platform, always available, but he's going to have his own show, so probably not, but just putting that out there. More Rising right after this.